Thank you for tuning in to The Reading, produced by Black Spectrum Network. Please go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com to purchase a private psychic reading. If you can't get enough of my content, go to patreon.com/Black Spectrum Network for as little as $2 a month. You can get these and other videos at least 1 week ahead of their YouTube release date. Please like this video, click the subscribe button, and leave us some feedback in the comments section. I'm going to shuffle my personality cards about the singer Prince. The first card that I get about Prince is the Shapeshifter card. This is speaking about his ability to see the potential in everyone and everything. What I do know about Prince is that he was known for being a male artist that opened a lot of doors for female artists, and he worked with female. Lots of female musicians, collaborated with them on songs. In addition to that, his bands were female. I get that also the Shapeshifter card is speaking about his ability to bend gender rules and to mesmerize people in that way. The Shapeshifter card is also speaking about him being able to navigate through different levels of consciousness. This is speaking about him being very much in alignment with his seven chakras, and specifically being able to intuit information from his crown chakra to know how to deal with people that are different from him, and to also keep an illusion around who he truly was. I also see here that he could project a sense of himself, I'm sorry, onto other people. In that way, I'm seeing that if someone was boring, for example, he could project onto them some sort of make them interesting. He could make their personality more provocative because they would want to emulate him. He was an artist, and he could bring out the best traits in people because he saw the greatest potential in everyone and everything. His energy also comes out as the Knight card. So this is talking about him being someone that's romantic, chivalrous. He loved to be in love. He had a very honorable way of loving on people. But when it came to romantic love, him being the Knight, he's not the king. He's the Knight, so he just charges in with he's very forceful, very dominating. He wants things his way. He expected his romantic partners to follow his lead. So the servant card is speaking about Prince always feeling as though he had to give to other people, that he always had to help them out for free. It's like, I'm going to, I want my money, definitely, but I want to help you. I want to give you this platform. I want to work with you. I want to open this door for you. I genuinely like you. He had a heart that was one that his heart was one that his heart worked in this way. He was satisfied with being someone that stimulated others. He was someone that served others because it taught him how to better serve himself. And he's someone that he worked his way up. That's the main thing that I hear with him being a servant. It's like, he felt as though he had paid his dues, and because of that, it's an energy of, I've accomplished this. So if I am saying that you're not doing this correctly, then it's because I've done this in the perfect way, and I'm telling you how to do this, even if my methods seem eclectic or, in a way, alien-esque. He would justify it as, I'm at the end of the day doing this, service for you from the bottom of my heart. I'm not doing this out. I'm doing this out of, to help you. The martyr card is speaking about him, again, transcending boundaries of gender, but also it's also speaking about him being a philanthropist and someone who was responsible for helping serve a lot of women in the music industry. And I'm also hearing that as the martyr card, he was someone that was, on the inside, he dealt with, on the inside, he had a bit of bitterness for how much he would give. He was a teacher to people. He taught them, but he also wanted to, create other teachers. But he had to deal with deal with the reality that many people around him were students. The bully card comes out, so the bully card is speaking about him having a tendency to intimidate people. So again, it's about the shadiness. This is speaking about him. He was someone that he could intuitively download information from the collective consciousness about the people around him's the people around him, their inner fears, their childhood traumas. He knew how to push their buttons, but he didn't do that. He was very confident in himself, very self-aware, and that allowed him to, I guess you could, not even I guess you could say, but we know that Prince would, throw shade. He would lock eyes with someone, but the bully card is saying that he did that. The bully card with the rest of these cards is okay. So take the bully card and the arithmetic of all these other cards, and they're specifically speaking about how Prince was this. Prince has this energy where he bullied people because he felt he was very accomplished, and he felt that he had the right to do it. But also at the same time, he was a servant. The companion card, he was a good lover to many people. I see him also being a very, very good lover to women, being into very girly women, very effeminate women, helping them to redefine their womanhood and figure out their womanhood. He was very loyal to them. He helped them to live a life that was to live the life that they wanted, to realize their dreams. Any woman that he had come into contact with, it was kind of like he had the Midas touch. You know what I mean? So he would he made for a good partner, but perhaps not so much a good husband. The prostitute card comes out, not so much a good husband. So the prostitute card comes out, and is talking about him being someone that he saw. He was not against making a dollar. He was always about making his money. He cared a lot about legally holding on to his money. He used his money to separate himself from other people, to create a life separate from other artists in the industry, a life that was separate from the public. And it's also speaking about him struggling to deal with this desire to have a massive amount of wealth, but also at the same time knowing that you have to give up certain parts of your soul to acquire this massive amount of wealth. So the next card that we get about Prince, the mentor card. The mentor card is specifically talking about Prince being a mentor to people like, artists that I know about, Janelle Monáe, but a mentor to many other young female artists. He was a wise sage that taught them how to become musicians and performers, how to appreciate music how to appreciate music as an art form, and how to use your body as an entertainer to conduct the music. Your body must be the conductor. Your body is also an instrument. Your voice is, an instrument, but your body is as well, is what I hear him telling these women. So he, as a mentor, was someone that wanted to hold on to his students, but he wanted them to become teachers. He genuinely wanted to see these women be successful. And part of why he played with gender was because he wanted to illustrate that his sexuality was not indicative. His sexual orientation was not indicative, could not be deciphered from his style of dress or his gender expression. So with all that being said, the mentor card is saying that he wanted women to become femme fatales. He wanted women to become alpha women, and he wanted to mentor these women into, using their femininity to become successful. The rebel card is speaking about, again, as I said before, him going against the grain, um, playing on people's expectations of what it makes for a good black artist. But he was someone that knew that he was just a rock star. He thought of himself as a rock star. He had a rock star's energy, and he said, I'm going to be androgynous because that's what a rock star would do with having a rock star presentation. He drew from that culture that African Americans created. So he's with him being the rebel, it's also saying that he was very spiritual, but his spiritual beliefs were ones that he had to go into the darkness of masculinity and bring that and bring those bring that baggage that a lot of men hold on to into the light, about wanting to explore um, different gender roles and different ways of expressing their femininity. He did that, and that was his spiritual purpose. The final card that I'm going to pull, and then we're going to move forward, is the Mystic card, and it's talking about him being, intuitive, very connected with the divine, always in contact with his third eye. I get this energy about Prince that he was someone that I get this energy about Prince that he was someone that could see into the future. He truly foresaw his success. He knew where it was going. I also see that he knew from a very young age that he would defy gender stereotypes, because I get that he drew a lot of inspiration from his mother. He saw his mom to be a very beautiful woman. I think that his mom was also very attractive, and he was also always into very attractive women. He reminds me of the male character on She's Gotta Have It, that is, you know, a little bit effeminate, androgynous, and I get this energy about Prince that he appeals to women that like that sort of softness in men that are emotionally aware of their emotions and the emotions of other women, and these men can use their words and their hands, their soft strokes, their voices, and their educational style, their teaching styles to massage out your anxiety. So, with all that being said, I see that for Prince. So, we're going to go ahead and bring out the spirit board and get into some more questions about Prince. All right. So, my first question is, I want to know, what were Prince's spiritual gifts? He was blessed with the ability to perform in front of the masses without doubt or fear or stress, period. He was he was also able he was also able to establish himself with prosperity through using his beauty to mesmerize the masses and restore their faith in in music, period. During this time there was a sweeping criticism of harsh no and harsh judgments that made it difficult for children to express their sexuality without family persecution, period. During this time, many teenagers strived to understand their sexuality with the with within high schools. High schools, men wanted to start having sex with women to Prince during proms. His music was useful for inspiring women to engage their mates with more passion, and the youth were taught how to understand themselves as young adults, human beings on the move towards having responsibility for themselves in further life transitions, period. He was able to use his voice and beauty and image to educate the masses, period. Okay, now I want to know, what was his spiritual mission? What was his personal spiritual mission? He wanted to perform. He wanted to perform as a universally known act. He struggled with sorry, I had to move my hand. Sorry. He struggled with bringing black men to the forefront, but he didn't want to be further discriminated against for misunderstandings of his masculinity. period. So he strove to invite women into the industry of all races because he wanted to position himself firmly with their within their within their within their within their aud within their audience within their many 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 fan bases. Strove for overlap. Worked with many artists. Producer for many artists. Strove to network and learn from many artists. Did not know he would be a teacher of many artists, but invited this destiny into his life. Period. So he didn't know that he was going to be a teacher to artists. Prince thought that he thought that he was just going to be a music artist that performed universally for people. He was like, I'm going to perform. I'm going to produce for people. But he didn't know that he was going to be a mentor. He never saw that for himself. But I get that in his I get that in his early to mid 20s, he started to understand that he was going to be a teacher to many people. And I get that in his early 30s was when he started teaching artists older than him how to become better musicians. So I want to now describe Prince's sexuality. Yes, a complicated matter here. Period. His sexual orientation was very restricted.
So fuel my fire, take me high, I'll be your light.